Academic Engagement and Motivation by Mason van Valkenburg. Academic engagement is extremely important for educators in order to promote and develop their students' abilities of comprehension and achievement. Skinner, Pitzner, and Steele found that academic engagement could potentially serve as an invaluable resource by providing students with the energy, momentum, and stamina that they'll require in order to face any academic struggles they may encounter. There are several factors that can influence academic engagement and motivation. They can vary in their significance and impact. Lowry and Woot found that the framing of perceived inequality can significantly impact the academic engagement of women, African Americans, and other minority groups. Researchers also concluded that the impact of perceived inequality in academic engagement was a result of attributional style, which was impacted by the framed inequality. Also, ensuring that the students possess a sufficient social and academic support, as well as an instilled sense of belongingness, is other important factors towards promoting academic engagement and motivation. Zubrun, McKim, and Boos and Bahali found that academic engagement and belongingness were often substantially improved among students when teachers displayed increased levels of academic social support. Also, the perceptions of belongingness work towards improving engagement and motivation among students as well. A variety of cultural factors also can impact motivation and engagement. Gonzalez found that traditional cultural values functioned as a protective factor in terms of academic engagement and externalizing behavior among students. This was displayed primarily among first-generation immigrants, who possessed much stronger traditional cultural values compared to students who were second or third generation immigrants. Several environmental factors have also been found by researchers to impact motivation and engagement among students. Opendacher and Minert found that student perceptions towards the academic learning environment significantly impacted the overall engagement of students. The students' perceived learning environment was often comprised of the teacher's ability to support their involvement and their management of the classroom. Despite the positive factors that can promote engagement and motivation, there are several factors that can negatively impact engagement and motivation. One of these factors was found to be discrimination, which was experienced differentially among both males and females within specific minority groups. Primarily, girls tended to display more positive outcomes compared to boys. However, researchers found that typically the perceived ethnic identity of an individual within a minority group can either greatly reduce the impact of discrimination concerning engagement and motivation or exacerbate it. Additional factors that can negatively impact engagement and motivation are the pre-existing mental disabilities or learning disabilities that are often outside the student's control. Researchers have continuously worked towards addressing these issues and redefining programs and strategies towards assisting these students find success and increase their motivation and engagement, as well as their overall satisfaction. Several methods have been developed by researchers and instructors towards improving motivation and engagement within the classroom. Peer observation is one method of teaching that was intended to promote engagement among students. Carroll and O'Lawton found that peer observation served as an extremely effective method of promoting engagement through the enhancement of both teaching and the overall learning experience. This method incorporated critical and insightful feedback from the students, which worked to strongly improve performance and the experiences of both the instructors and the students. Another important factor of this strategy was that it focused on strengthening the communication skills as well as the overall cohesion between the instructor and student, which allowed for an unhindered flow of knowledge, understanding, and development. Several programs have been established with the goal of promoting and improving motivation and engagement. Martin found that a youth enrichment program involving motivation-specific intervention strongly improved facets of engagement and motivation among students. The impact of this program was promoted by several factors, including the optimistic expectations from adults, a focus on mastery, and an environment of cooperation and belongingness, as well as positive relationships between the students and the adults, while embedding school-related elements within a broader enrichment program. Another program that was found to be extremely effective was a program that incorporated animals during reading. Bassett and Tabor-Doughty found that a dog reading visitation program was not only well received by the students, but also improved their motivation and engagement. Academic engagement and motivation are extremely important towards overall academic success, but they are, however, different. Primarily, engagement is what you are doing versus motivation, which is why you are doing it. Researchers have found a variety of techniques and philosophies that have been aimed towards specific areas of education. Several of these have been aimed towards increasing motivation and engagement among students. However, each specific strategy is extremely effective when used within the intended situation. It may be less effective in other situations. Questioning, discussion, and dialogue, also known as recitation, is another teaching strategy that has been very effective in improving student engagement. This approach provokes the curiosity and investment of the student, which is extremely important towards promoting engagement. This teaching approach also incites cognitive conflict within the student and increases the effort needed to complete the assignment, which in turn promotes a greater learning experience. Another teaching strategy that also impacts engagement and motivation simultaneously is group discussion. Group discussion involves the student to express themselves to one another while tolerating alternative views and justifying their own individual opinions, which increases their engagement and their motivation. This approach also allows the student to assume leadership roles during the discussion, while having the opportunity to evaluate alternative possible explanations, while achieving an overall genuine understanding of the concept. Another strategy that simultaneously promotes engagement and motivation is adaptive teaching, which encourages student engagement and motivation by utilizing more direct and strategic approach, which teaches the student how to apply cognitive methods during brief cycles of teaching, checking for understanding, and then followed by reteaching. This strategy had the ultimate goal of continuously working towards allowing the student to be able to exhibit guided discovery, independent study, and peer mentoring, with the goal of the student applying these skills during the rest of their lives. And here are my references. I hope you enjoyed this presentation.